boxer.
Speaking of predictions, I want to like hear your predictions on UFC Paris. What do you think of that event as a whole? Because we talked about it last week. It could literally be it's as stacked as a pay-per-view. Vittori versus Whitaker as a co-main. Surreal Gone versus Tai Tuivasa the main event. Like, this is an amazing card. Like, this is the best fight night card I've ever seen. Truly.
Yeah, I would agree. The fight has a few decent people in the prelims too.
Yeah.
Joaquin Buckley is headlining the prelims, who, as he says, has the most viral KO of all time. He's the most viral fighter. He fought behind that cop guy on Instagram who teaches self-defense. So he's a cool guy. You know, he lost to Kevin Holland, but he's had some vicious KOs. He won his last fight. And yeah, there's names on there from head to toe. I'm just gonna pull up the card again.
I just saw that. I have some good news on that fight. But now that I looked it up, the Jessica Andrade fight was canceled.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I don't know who did they add on to for that. Was it Jourdain versus Wood?
I think they may have. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Dude, now I really
with that fight though. I'm excited for that Charles Jourdain fight because I think he got robbed in that Shane Burgos fight.
Perhaps.
I mean, it was a close fight, but
that was another weird
robbed,
fight, you know.
And I think he's going to be hungry. I think he's going to be hungry.
He's a good
and
good.
I love watching him in the octagon. He's a young guy, does have a little bit of T-Rex arms, but you know, I'm excited for him. You know, I think that he's got power, he's got charisma, and he has like that Spartan energy to him. I'm not exactly sure if he like acknowledges, you know, Sparta like Kambosos does, but he has the similar vibe to him where he's like a warrior.
That's actually a really good fight.
So I'm really excited for that fight. You know, he's had submission wins, he's had decision wins, he's had pretty big KOs. Even in his decision wins, man, he does damage to the other opponents and he imposes his will. He's just a creative striker. I'm not familiar with the lightweights and middleweights who are fighting, but there was a fighter from Glory Kickboxing who was supposed to be on this card. I watched.
It was canceled or like something happened.
Yeah,
he got hurt.
So here's what happened. He was fighting against someone with 6 fights, and he only had 2 fights. And in the MMA when there are fighters with less than 10 fights, there's a certain amount of differences in fights that they can have. So that wasn't sanctioned, but regardless, I'm really excited for this guy in the UFC because I was watching his highlights. Cedric Doumbé. I think he might be French himself. It sounds a little French. I don't know. Don't take my word for that. But you know, he was a Glory Kickboxing champ. He fought in the welterweight division there, and he has a bomb overhand right. That guy was just there was a highlight where the guy had his hands over here. You know, he was below, he was in the clinch, and he went like this, boom, and just put the guy to sleep. He was putting guys to sleep in Glory Kickboxing, and we've seen what those Glory Kickboxers can do in Izzy and Pereira. So I'm excited to have another one in the UFC, and I think that he'll do really well. I don't know. I got a good feeling about these Glory guys, and they're really good strikers. You know, they get it done, and I hope that he'll, you know, get enough good wrestling so that he can prosper in the UFC. But those are really good news to hear always.
Let me ask, what
New and
division?
upper coming. So he fought in welterweight in Glory Kickboxing, but I'm gonna see if he fought at different weights in um mixed martial arts. But um he's a 73-inch reach. It says 170, so that'll be difficult in the UFC for
Yeah,
sure. Because
all the wrestlers.
there's a ton of wrestlers in that division, so he'll definitely have to work on that. But um, yeah, he's a 170, which is unfortunate. So maybe we'll get him against Neil Gary at some point. That could be a fun fight.
Yeah.
And he's only 29, so he's relatively young. Sorry, he was born in Cameroon, but he's fighting out of Limoges, France. Um, so he fought. He's been a champion in many organizations. He was Florida kickboxing champ twice, and he had 5 title defenses. So this guy's legit. Uh, be on the watch for him in the UFC, and I'm excited for what's to come from him. But back to the UFC Paris card.
Yeah,
Have you made your official
let me get some
predictions?
predictions. Yeah, give us some
Yeah.
predictions.
So I'll kind of give the ones that I have some sort of information about, because I don't want to give, just random predictions based on, who looks better, looks cool or whatever.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go from the bottom and see. So I know Joaquin Buckley is an underdog. Um, I'm kind of just gonna take him because I know who he is more than the other guy. I'm not really sure if the other guy's a wrestler or what. But the ones that I mainly know about are the co-main and main event. And I'm gonna say that Whitaker will win by decision. I don't think it'll be as dominant as you and Lucas said, because Vittori is still really good, and the fight can go many ways because we've seen Whitaker look human before. Um, we've seen him dropped by Romero. I'm not saying Vittori has the power of Romero, but we've seen him drop. We've seen him, knocked out by Izzy. We've seen him stumble, be light on his feet, and we haven't really seen that from Vittori. So it'll be interesting to see how Vittori's chin holds up. It'll be interesting to see how Whitaker's chin holds up. And as the fight goes on, I think that it'll get closer and closer. I think Whitaker will probably start pretty hot, because I feel like he is the more technical striker. Overall, more of the better fighter. But I think as the fight goes on and it becomes more of a dogfight, which I think it inevitably will be, I think it'll get a lot closer, and I think that it'll be a pretty close decision. But I do think I'm going to give the edge to Whitaker. And with Surreal Gone versus Tai Tuivasa, it just kind of feels like deja vu a little bit, with him versus Derek Lewis. I know Derek Lewis is older. Tai Tuivasa KO'd him, but let's not miss the fact that Tuivasa was in trouble in that fight also. Um, Derek Lewis was scoring shots on him. He was scoring good, significant strikes on him. And we've seen Surreal Gone evade power punchers like Derek Lewis and Francis Ngannou. Although he lost the Francis Ngannou fight, Francis didn't really land any huge clean shots on him. And Surreal is just so fast for that division, so fluid for that division. He's light on his feet. He moves around. He fights at a good pace. And although it's 5 rounds and it'll be harder to bounce on his feet for 5 rounds, I feel like it'll play out similar to the Lewis fight where Surreal Gone has Ty fighting off his back foot and catches him in the corner and throws some good combos and eventually overwhelms him, because I don't know how good of stamina Tuivasa has. Like, I don't know if he's ready for a 5 rounder. It'll be interesting to see his conditioning, but as the fight goes on, like, I just don't know how much of a beating he can take from Surreal Gone, because he's gonna take a beating. Surreal Gone is like definitely a top 5 striker, I think, in the UFC, especially in that heavyweight class. What he's doing at that weight is crazy.
It
Like
looks
the
like a
fact
middleweight.
that, yeah,
Like a middleweight.
yeah, for real. Like he's bouncing off his feet. He's throwing head kicks left and right. The oblique kick is always there. Um, he's rangy. Um, but I just like the only way I see Tuivasa winning is by KO, and that actually makes it very interesting and weird for the division because I don't know if all you guys remember when Francis Ngannou fought Derek Lewis. It was a very weird and horrible fight, probably a top 5 worst fight in the UFC, where neither of them wanted to throw punches because each respected the other power. And I'm wondering if a Tai Tuivasa fight, if that happens, versus Francis Ngannou will be a similar fight because I don't know how inclined Francis is to get into a brawl with guys like that. He definitely didn't want to do it with Lewis, but I don't know how he's changed or how Tuivasa is different than Lewis. I know he's not the same fighter, but they're typical heavyweights who have a lot of power and can take you out at any moment, but aren't the fastest. So I don't like Tuivasa in this fight against Gan. I feel like it's a pretty simple like win for Gan.
By finish.
Yeah, I think by TKO probably.
Yeah, I agree. I got Whitaker by decision 50-45. And then I got but at the same time, like you said, like I mean, I don't think it's gonna be like a 50-45 where like it's like he dominates these rounds.
You think it'll be close rounds?
I think they'll be close rounds, but I think he'll clearly win them. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm saying 50-45. And I don't Whitaker Vittori's got a ridiculous chin. Like he probably has the best chin in the UFC. So he's not getting knocked out. But and then in terms of the main event, Surreal Gone versus Tai Tuivasa, I just like I think it's kind of a mismatch, to be honest. Like I don't really see.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't know why they booked this fight.
I get it. Like I mean, he's popular. They did an event in Paris, so they had to feature Gone. They wanted to give him like a winnable fight, and the most winnable fight is Tuivasa in the top 5. So I get it, but like it's just like it's not going to be a close fight. I don't think. I think Tuivasa is going to be overwhelmed, and I think he's going to get Gone will like just dominate, honestly. Like it'll be like you said, I think it'll be a lot similar to the Derek Lewis fight where he finished Derek Lewis, I think, in the 3rd round. And I'm gonna have the same prediction as I'm gonna say it's gonna be the same outcome. I think Surreal Gone will finish Tai Tuivasa in the 3rd round, I would say. Yeah, 3rd round.
Yeah.
TKO. I don't think he's gonna put his lights out by any means. I think he's just gonna like over the first 3 rounds. I think he's just gonna like just keep landing,
overwhelm him. Yeah,
overwhelm him and like tire him out. And I think he'll eventually get the finish in the 3rd round. But I'm excited. I'm excited for this card. I think it's like I said, like it's the best fight night ever. Like that's what I think. I think it's unbelievable.
It could be.
This could have been like Surreal Gone, Tai Tuivasa, Bob Whitaker, Vittori. That could be a pay-per-view. Like I
there have been worse pay-per-views. For sure.
There's definitely been worse pay-per-views than that. Like, and this, like, you literally could add one more good fight, and like that's a really good pay-per-view. Like,
it's definitely top heavy. I will say that.
Yeah, it's top heavy, but like just having those 2 fights like on like a fight night is ridiculous because like Whitaker versus Vittori, like I mean, those are guys who Whitaker won the belt, Vittori's fought for the belt. Like, so like that could be a main event, like if Whitaker was, I mean, because Whitaker is a championship fighter, so like that itself is like, I mean, I'm not saying that like they would book that as a main event for pay-per-view. I'm just saying like,
is it 5 rounds or they're going 3?
No, probably that's actually.
I hope 5. Oh, that'd be great. I think it'll probably be 3, but
oh wow. So I'll say my prediction will still be Whitaker wins 3-0 in terms of rounds. So
Yeah, I think the 3 rounds favors Whitaker more.
yeah, I would say so also. But if I'm Vittori, I'm just trying to make this a dogfight, to be honest.
Yeah,
If he doesn't make it a dogfight, he's gonna just get dominated by Whitaker. Like Whitaker will just land. Like he's not gonna get Vittori's not gonna get finished, but like
I
he's
kind of
gonna
want to see their reach
get up.
because
Get pieced up. Yeah, I mean, I think they're similar sizes, like yeah, they're the
yeah,
same reach.
they're yeah. So
Yeah, so it's I
I don't
just
know
think
if
that
he'll exactly piece him up, but he'll probably land the better shot.
I mean Vittori Whitaker's like I think there's a difference in there are different levels, like I think Whitaker is a decent amount better than Vittori.
Yeah.
I think he's definitely better than him. Like I think Izzy and Whitaker are like I mean besides Pereira is like a little different. Like but in terms of I think Izzy and Whitaker are like way better than everybody else in that division. Like I think Whitaker beats anybody that's not Izzy. Like similar like with Volk and Max Holloway.
I was gonna say yes.
Like I think that's a case of that. And I think Whitaker is just gonna be too good for Vittori, honestly. Like I think he's just gonna like just like piece him up, But if I'm Vittori, like I'm making this a dogfight, or at least attempting to make this a dogfight, Like I mean, like Whitaker doesn't have crazy power, so like I don't think like and Vittori's got the best chin, like it's like I don't think there's a risk of him getting knocked out. So I would like to see Whitaker. I would like to see Vittori making a dogfight, but regardless, I don't think it would make a difference. And I got Robert Whitaker by decision, and then like I said, in terms of the main event, I got Ciryl Gane by 3rd round TKO. But I'm just very
I agree.
hard. I mean, like if either of these guys lose, like if it goes the opposite way, if Tai Tuivasa knocks out Ciryl Gane, that'd be kind of cool too. If Vittori beats Whitaker, I mean, I'd be a little upset about that since I love Robert Whitaker, but it wouldn't be the end of the world though. Like, I think it would still be interesting, and I think